Nice to see you, Robert.
Hi, Jono. How are you?
Oh, good, thanks. And you?
Not too bad. Bit of a grey day here in England, but it's nice.
Good. Okay. Just tell us, what are you doing at the moment as editor of MET?
Good question, actually. So I've just had the last issue drop through the post, which is this one here, which was about English for academic purposes. I've also just handed over to design our next issue, which is all based around classroom research. So the designer will now spend the next couple of weeks designing up the magazine. Okay. And in the meantime, I'm working on the January issue, which is all to do with speaking. So 3 different stages of the magazines there, but that's what life is like at the moment for the editor.
Are you still accepting submissions for the speaking?
Exactly. So speaking is something which I think everybody does in their class at certain stages of the day or the week. So if anybody still has a short idea or article about speaking, then send it along to me and I'll be keen to look at it. If we don't get it into January, February, it can always go into another issue later in the year.
Okay. You mentioned the theme of this month's issue is English for academic purposes. Any highlights? Right. Any highlights in the issue?
There is that, yeah. Well, there's 7 or 8 articles from different parts of the world as usual. One I really liked was on something that we've probably all come across at different times of our career, which is when the student hands in work that probably isn't entirely their own, or during an assessment might try and get help from their colleagues to pass the assessment. So Sandy Thompson does a very good article on how you can coach your class into avoiding that sort of activity, because it's not really what anybody aspires to. I mean, it does happen. Everybody knows that there are parents who help with coursework, and there are sometimes partners or housemates who can help with homework. But by and large, if we're going to assess people fairly, then we do want to see their own work. So that's a good article. Rachel Appleby in Hungary does a very interesting article on preparing a module on public writing for her master's students at the university there where she teaches. Now, public writing is blogs, press releases, even writing a letter to a newspaper. And right. Rachel comes up with a very interesting program design for that, using a lot of social media such as Facebook and Twitter. And she's done the course for 3 years running now and summarizes the course, and you get some really nice examples of writing written on Twitter, which is probably enough for us to be able to judge someone's writing, particularly for a communications master's. So there are a couple of the highlights. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed putting the EAP magazine together, and don't be put off if you don't teach EAP. A lot of the ideas make sense for all sorts of general English teaching as well.
Okay. Anything else you've noticed putting this together?
Well, funnily enough, because I've been working on 3 issues sort of very close to each other, I've just begun to notice some of the links that we have between, not only between articles within one magazine, but even across different issues of the magazine. Nice example I've got here is Julieta Schönman and Maggie Laszlo talking about the human aspect of being a teacher, and they quote Steve Jobs, the guy who founded Apple, and back in 1995 he said that the most important part of education is the teacher, because only the teacher can inspire curiosity within students. So that's very important that we realize that no matter how good the technology, we still need a teacher standing alongside and using the technology to make the teaching as efficient and the learning as good as possible. And then Charlie Ellis writing a really nice opinion piece on a comparison between being a barista and being a teacher. how the skills of being a barista, the skills of being a teacher, again, require good technology, good content, good materials, but that zest of your own humanity in there as well to make yourself a good teacher, a good barista. And he quotes Michael Lewis and Jimmy Hill, again from the 90s, saying that no matter how good the technology, they've never seen a computer who could smile at a class.
Right.
I think that's really important. That's the one thing we all have. We can open the door to the classroom, walk in, big smile, and you get people on side. And that sort of links in nicely to another article by Michael Lacey Freeman in this EAP edition. He has been teaching university English in Italy for a long time and had his little list of wishes that he would like to see in the materials he was using. And having described the 7 things he wants in a good course book, he got the chance to write that course book for a well-known publisher. So he talks about that and the sort of skill you need to teach 100 university students who probably aren't that motivated is a thing that we all need to sort of read about and pick up some ideas from. So that's just a little sample of what's in the EAP edition.
Yeah, so that human element of teaching.
Very, very important. Yeah.
Good. Listen, nice talking to you, Robert.
Pleasure as ever, John. We can talk next time about the research issue, because I know you're interested in research, and we'll be able to sort of discuss how the research that linguists are doing into learning can be used by our own teachers in the practice in the classroom.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.